This route we're planning to drive in Peru can easily be considered one of the most unlikely roads to ever exist. There's almost nothing written about it online, because it's just another highway, right? Wrong. Far from it. From my research, parts of this road can be considered the most switchbacked in the world, with one section containing a staggering 57 hairpin turns in a distance of 1.8 kilometers as the crow flies. Not only that, the number of landslides can be counted daily, not annually. Carved thousands of feet above sea level into the sides of mountains, the 3N is an anomaly. It chalks up as the most hair-raising and dangerous drive we've ever attempted. Just an average day here in Latin America. If driving the longest road in the world wasn't enough, give yourself 100 days to build a 4x4 motorhome capable of such a task. 40,000 miles crossing every type of terrain imaginable, through some of the most feared and remote regions on Earth. Just for something to do? No. For something to write books about. Something to relish in the aliveness of living on the edge of the unknown insanity. Something to radically expand our perspective of what the world is actually like and what is possible within one lifetime. I'm Matthew.
And I'm Stacy.
And this is Toyota World Runners, proudly presented by Westcan Overland, Off-Road and Design.
Look at that! Country number 13.
We're entering Peru on the northwest coast. Coming from the mountains in Ecuador, this was a shock to the system on all fronts. In some ways it felt like we had entered into a Mad Max film. Dust everywhere. We'll be following the coast along the Pan America Highway until we reach Trujillo. Along the way we'll be looking for some sand dunes to explore. From there, we'll navigate directly east, towards the 3N. We welcome a new culture, and in an attempt to understand, we'll have to peel off this country's outer touristic layers. A cloud of salty mist from the mighty Pacific collides with the endless layers of sand picked up from the oppressive winds. Peru's north coast may be the most beautiful cities you've never seen. Our long 10-hour drive from Ecuador led us to this beautiful farm near the ocean. It's peaceful here. And if we had known what we were getting ourselves into in the days to come, maybe we would have stayed longer.
They fly?
Yeah. They fly.
As we drive, we learn. We listen, and we ask questions. One of the things we've learned is that to avoid paying high taxes, people will leave their homes unfinished.
I should have locked the gates. I should have thrown away the key. Then I'll be fine with it.
This is the first time we visited the coast since northern Colombia. And this isn't your average jungly coastline. This is the desert. In a failed attempt to find sand dunes to drive on, we stumbled across something equally as interesting, yet a little more strange. Fed by the Moche River, this canal is an excellent source of irrigation for the surrounding farmers. And while we're not quite sure how they grow crops in sand, it's a testament yet again to the prevailing nature of the Latin Americans. This lunar-type landscape came as a shock to both of us, as we weren't expecting to see views like this until northern Argentina.
City of Mud. So cool. You can see like all the brickwork underneath. Like this part's been eroded, but you can see like bricks made of mud. Fully loaded ceviches for $8.
And also, this is the best thing I've ever tried.
It's delicious.
It's hot. Not
Quinoa
hot
soup juice.
Quinoa soup juice that tastes like fruit.
It's got the texture of like gelatin too.
Trujillo is one of the oldest colonial cities in Peru. It's also home to a fascinating display of the Inca's reproductive tendencies. Feeling culturally satiated, we're now heading east towards the 3N. Our climb from sea level would take us in one shot up to 4,000 meters. Not a small task for an old truck. This is our first look at the Peruvian Andes, and also the impressive efforts of the mining culture to extract gold, coal, and other minerals from these mountains.
Well, pretty cool spot. Well, I think that was our biggest elevation climb in one day to date, from sea level to 4,000.
Yeah, all in one go. Like, just no stopping.
Yeah.
That was so...
Well, there's not a lot of wood to make a fire, unfortunately.
We'll be having roast in the cast iron.
Or chili. No, we'll have chili.
You like chili? Is it a chili camp?
It's a chili camp. Chili camp.
Well, we are finally getting to some parts of South America that I've been really excited about for a long time.
Although my sinuses don't approve of this altitude, I approve of this altitude. It's so nice being cold.
It's a nice quiet camp last night. It's hard to breathe though.
I'm excited to see more mountains.
Did you know that Peru is home to 70% of the world's alpaca population?
Peru's infamous 3N. So weird, it almost looks like concrete.
What started as a leisurely drive through farmlands and small villages quickly left us in anticipation for the most intense parts of this route, the game of counting landslides and the locals who are practicing for the Indy 500 on the edge of a cliff.
If you're enjoying this film, please smash that like button and consider subscribing if you're not already. It's free and it really does help us out.
Understanding social lubricants between different countries can sometimes take a couple weeks. Our conversations between other drivers on the Ruta 3N lay at the different tones of horn honking. We are greeted with hazard lights and loud beeps as locals maneuver the shelf roads with a scary sense of confidence. We adapt and join in.
Check out that new poncho. Wow. An Andean princess.
Yeah. We are up bright and early because we saw blue sky when we looked out the window, so we jumped to it. We've already had our coffee. Now we're gonna go do this crazy switchbacks.
This is our first look from above at the 30 switchbacks we drove last night as it got dark. And also our first look at the other 27 we'd be driving up the other side of the mountain this morning.
Yesterday was a long drive. I wouldn't say the weather was completely in our favor. So we're gonna crush out a few hours this morning on the slopes. And yeah, we'll see what's in store. It's a freaking gamble out here, but it's beautiful.
If you remove the remnants of recent landslides, the perilous cliff edges, pure solitude, and 1,000-meter elevation gain through dozens of hairpins, it's just your average highway, right? All we've got to do is keep the wheels on the road. The route continues its winding snake-like story through mountain villages dotted with beautiful murals, locals selling their wares, and kids yelling to their parents, "Gringo, gringo." All things we've become quite accustomed to. We can't imagine driving a vehicle any bigger than this Chinook through some of these streets. It's amazing to us that these peaceful mountain villages exist along these crazy roads. We didn't know it yet, but we hadn't even seen the real crazy. Things became more interesting when the road turned to mud. Thankfully, the government has interest in maintaining this section, but it's obvious these landslides are recent, likely from rain in the last few days. This knowing would keep our nerves on edge as we got into the more remote parts of this route. What do you mean? It's a bit of mud.
That was crazy.
That was crazy. Mudsliders. That was fun though.
Tow car klaxon!
If driving on the edges of cliffs you can't see the bottom of doesn't get your heart racing, well, then you should probably be a base jumper.
It dawned on me that I already know how I'm likely to die. I seem destined. Also, these parts,
Oh yeah, we found the mud. Or, well, the mud found us anyway. A big benefit to this route is there's lots of pullouts and small dirt roads that lead to mines. While most of them are abandoned, they make for good camp spots.
So nice.
I don't know why it's raining, but the sky's beautiful.
Climate is weird, right?
From 3,500 meters down to 1,000, we were about to enter a completely different world.
and creepy.
We're now entering Cañón del Pato, otherwise known as I Can't Believe This Is a Road. Road conditions may be one thing. The oncoming traffic in a tunnel like this is another. But filming it really means we have to have our wits about us.
Oh wow. You can just give Sunday a bath right here.
Yeah. How was it?
Such a nice temperature.
We found camp.
The tunnel route through the canyon yesterday had the road only about 100 feet from the water. What we would drive this morning, we would add a 0 to that. The fear factor is present. We left the lights off here because I want you to see how dark these tunnels are. We were happy to be traveling south, which would keep us on the cliff side of the road. But even still, you can't avoid getting close to the edge.
That's a lot of power right there. Holy heck.
Emerging from the canyon gave us a striking view of what's to come. The 3N continues south into some of the most breathtaking regions of Peru. But you're going to have to join us next time for more on that.
It's crazy, that one part just looks like it's completely caved away. See that where they're ready for